Chapter 3. The Dragon's Curse. Flames of Betrayal. Asterisk, the clearing in the heart of the forest of Alther pulsed with an ancient rhythm, as though the earth itself breathed beneath Cale's boots. The guardian spirit stood before him, a towering shape of mist and moonlight, faceless yet somehow heavy with presence. Its ethereal hand still pointed toward him, the single word it had spoken chosen echoing in his mind like the toll of a distant bell. The wolf. Silver as moonlight, padded silently around the edge of the glowing stone circle, its gaze steady and unblinking. Cale's heart pounded so loudly he feared it would shatter the forest's unnatural silence. I don't understand, Cale whispered, tightening his grip on the glowing sword. Why me? What does this mean? The spirit tilted its head slightly, and a whisper like wind through hollow reeds filled the clearing. You are the marked one, bearer of Eldarian's fire. The curse awakens because the balance has been broken. You have been chosen because the shadow knows your blood. Cale felt a chill that reached deep into his bones. My blood? But I don't even know who I am. The spirit's voice deepened, reverberating through the stones. You are the heir of forgotten kings. The blood of fire and light flows within you, hidden from the world until now. The dragon hunts you because it fears you. And fear is the herald of war. Cale's knees weakened beneath him. All his life he had been an outcast, a boy with no family, and no name but the one the villagers had given him. To hear now that he was heir to something greater, a kingdom, a legacy, felt impossible. Yet the sword's warmth in his palm and the glow of the spirit's presence told him it was truth. What do I do? He asked, his voice trembling. The spirit extended its misty arm, and from the swirling light at its center, a vision formed. Cale saw a towering citadel, blackened and broken, fire curling from its shattered gates. A dragon circled above, its massive wings blotting out the sun. And in the heart of the ruins stood a cloaked figure, their face hidden, holding a staff. Crowned with a crimson jewel that pulsed like a beating heart, the betrayer has risen, the spirit intoned. Once a guardian, now corrupted by greed and shadow, they are the hand that stirs the dragon's wrath. To defeat the curse, you must find the betrayer before the moons bleed again. Cale stared at the vision, horror twisting in his gut. How? I don't even know where to begin. The spirit's faceless head turned toward the wolf, which stepped forward into the circle, bowing its massive head. Follow the guardian of the forest. It will lead you to the truth. But beware, chosen one, the path ahead is steeped in betrayal. Even those who walk beside you may not remain true. The word betrayal lingered in Cale's mind like a bitter taste. Before he could speak again, the spirit began to fade, its form unraveling into wisps of silver mist. Its voice lingered, soft as a sigh. Your strength will be tested. And your heart, broken. Then it was gone. The clearing dimmed, the blue glow of the stones fading into a faint shimmer. Cale stood motionless, staring at the space where the spirit had been. The wolf approached him and pressed its nose gently to his hand, a strange gesture of reassurance. Its golden eyes seemed to speak without words. Come, it is time. Cale sheathed the glowing sword, though even within its scabbard, it hummed with restless energy. He followed the wolf out of the clearing, back into the labyrinth of ancient trees. The forest grew darker as they traveled, the moonlight smothered by the dense canopy above. Hours passed, and Cale's exhaustion weighed on him like lead. The whispers of the forest returned, faint and unsettling, always just out of reach. He began to wonder had been right, if stepping into this cursed wood had been a mistake. Then, in the distance, he saw a flicker of light. He slowed, his senses sharpening. The wolf crouched low, growling softly. Cale moved forward cautiously, until the trees parted to reveal a small camp nestled in a hollow between towering roots. A fire burned low in the center, casting shadows on a figure seated on a fallen log dot. It was a girl, perhaps a few years older than Kale, with hair the color of raven feathers and a cloak of deep green. She was sharpening a dagger, her movements precise and deliberate. At the sound of Kale's approach, she glanced up, and her piercing gray eyes locked onto him. "You're making enough noise to wake the dead," she said flatly, her voice calm, but sharp as a blade. Kale froze, hand instinctively on his sword's hilt. "Who are you?" The girl raised an eyebrow. "I could ask you the same. Not many wander this deep into Alther and live to tell it." Kale hesitated. I'm just passing through." Her lips curved into a wry smile. "No one just passes through this forest. You're running from something. Or toward something." The wolf stepped forward then, growling softly, and the girl's eyes widened slightly. "A guardian wolf," she murmured. "You're not just some lost villager." Kale's grip on his sword tightened. He didn't know if he could trust her, but the way she spoke calm, knowing made him wonder if she was part of what the spirit had spoken of. "I don't want trouble," he said. "Good," she replied, standing smoothly. She was taller than him, lithe and confident, her dagger glinting in the firelight. "Because trouble is already following you." Before Kale could ask what she meant, a sudden rustle erupted in the trees. Figures in dark cloaks emerged from the shadows, bows drawn and swords glinting. There were 5 of them, their faces hidden behind black scarves. Kale's heart leapt. The girl swore under her breath, shadow-bound. One of the figures stepped forward, his voice a low growl. "Hand over the boy, and no blood needs to spill." Kale felt his blood run cold. They were after him. The girl moved to stand between him and the strangers, her dagger spinning in her hand. "You'll have to go through me," the leader laughed darkly. "Gladly." Chaos erupted. Arrows flew, and Kale dove behind a tree, drawing his glowing sword. The runes flared to life, and he swung wildly at the nearest attacker, the blade cutting through the man's sword like it was glass. The wolf lunged, teeth sinking into another's arm, dragging him to the ground. The girl moved like a shadow, her dagger flashing in precise strikes. She fought with deadly efficiency, taking down 2 men before they even realized what hit them. But there were too many. Kale parried a blade, sparks flying, but another attacker slammed into him from behind, knocking him to the ground. The leader loomed over him, his own sword raised. "Enough games," the man hissed. Kale braced himself, but before the blade could fall, a burst of fire erupted from the sword in his hand. Flames roared outward, consuming the attacker in a wave of heat. The man screamed, dropping his weapon as he staggered back. The fire didn't burn Kale, but it illuminated the clearing in a blinding glow. The remaining shadowbound fled into the forest, their leader clutching his scorched arm. "This isn't over," he snarled before vanishing into the darkness. The girl stood still, dagger raised, until the forest was silent again. Then she turned to Kale, eyes wide with shock. "What in the God's name was that?" Kale stared at the glowing sword in his trembling hands, the fire flickering and dying down. I don't know." The wolf padded to his side, its golden eyes gleaming. The girl sheathed her dagger and extended a hand to help him up. "Name's Lyra," she said. "Looks like you're in over your head." "Good thing I like a challenge." Kale hesitated, then took her hand dot as the fire crackled low. A sense of unease settled over him. The spirit had warned of betrayal, and though Lyra had saved his life, he couldn't shake the suspicion that she was part of something larger, something dangerous.